Hello, everybody. This is Ellis Paul over here in Charlottesville, Virginia. That's where I live, and I've lived here for over a decade now. It's hard to believe. Still feel like I'm from Maine, however, or Boston, or New England. I'm a New England guy, but I do love it down here. The weather's beautiful, and look, we're going to watch the sunset tonight. It's a special night. This is the Patreon all request night, and they have requested an album show tonight. I'm going to be doing Say Something, the entire record from start to finish. And get this, if you are just watching or just tuning in now, if you're a member of Patreon, you get a download of this album for free over there tonight. It will be in the actual video that's going on right now over on Patreon. And not only that, for signing up, you get this. Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show will send that to you in the mail. But you will get a full-on digital recording of this album back from 1993. Ellis Paul, Say Something, That's Me. While we're waiting here for folks, let's play a little music. Let me know where you're from. I'm just going to do a few songs publicly, and then we shut off and just play to the Patreon folks. This is a new song I'm working on with Seth Clear. It's called January Rain. Hello, Michael in LA. Good to have you here tonight. Barbara, nice to have you tuning in as well. I like your accountability. Let's get vaccinated. Right on. Carrie Lee is here. Nice to see you in Jersey again. Carrie Lee, thank you. And Janice, there you are again. Barbara, there we are. No, look, you guys got the same kind of COVID celebrating going on here. Grab a beverage, y'all. Nice to have Stacy here. Hi, Stace. It's been fun playing the word games with you online. Lisa Johnson from Tewksbury, Massachusetts is here. Please share this on your Facebook feed, guys. It's going to be a little bit of a time travel night for us. I think I've got everything I need here. Scotland in the house. I know it's late over there. Best to you guys. Thank you so much. Again, if you are a member of Patreon, you will be getting this album as a download tonight, right on the video that you're watching now. 1993. If you're wondering what this song I'm playing, it's a song I'm writing right now with Seth Clear that I love. Can't wait to get it out. Thank you, Janice. Bob Seifert is here. Where'd you go, Bob? There you are. Thanks, brother. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And Mary Patare is here. All right. Good to see you here, my old friend. Cranberry juice is in the hands of Janice Flanagan. Very good. I got a little bubbly. Scotland in the house. Saskatchewan, Canada. Nice to have you here, darling. Thank you. We're going to start in a couple minutes. We're just letting the crowd come in. This is what we call the lounge time. Say hello to everybody. Darla, this is Seth Clear, the guy that I'm writing this song with. Beautiful vocalist. He's so good. I love that song. I cannot wait to get my hands on it too. Seth still has this beauty to his voice. He's just around 30 years old. He's such a great singer. All right, guys, I'm going to just wait for that minute to click on. If you, again, are not a member of Patreon, tonight's a great night to sign up because you get two zingers. You get this album in the mail physically, and you get a download of the album I'm about to play from start to finish. But let's start the show officially, shall we? Please spread the word on this. We're going to be doing 3 or 4 songs here before we jump over to the Patreon site. Check this out. Hello, everybody. This is Ellis Paul in Charlottesville, Virginia. Every Sunday night, I actually do 3 shows a week, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. But the Sunday night show, which is now, is the Patreon All Request Show. And that's where I do specialty events, and sometimes it's a night of requests, and I just take out a 3-ring binder of all my songs and play. Sometimes it's a whole album, as it is tonight. And sometimes it may be, I don't know, songs from Laurel Canyon all in one night, or maybe a Beatles night. Or maybe I'll do the album on the old record player. Anybody recognize that? I know it's a little blurry in the background, but let me see if anybody recognizes what album that is. Tonight we are celebrating a record I released in 1993. I consider this to be my true first album release. It's called Say Something. I recorded this in Boston, and it has a who's who of the Boston music scene. Bill Morrissey produced it. This is a picture of Bill that I stole from the old Vienna coffee house when it closed. Bill was a legendary songwriter in the American folk scene, probably one of the best songwriters to ever breathe and do this. And he came out to see me play because his girlfriend was a fan of mine. And he came up to me and he said, I'd like to produce you. And I said, absolutely. Why wouldn't I? Because I didn't know what the hell I was doing at that point. He'd see me do a show and he liked it enough to say that, which was an amazing seal of approval since he was considered to be the best American folk singer probably of that period of time. And he took me under his wing, and I probably spent 200-300 hours with him working in the studio. And we brought in people like Patty Griffin and Jonathan Brooke and Duke Levine and some of the best players in Boston, Richard Gates on bass, Johnny Cunningham on fiddle. It was just an extraordinary, mind-blowing time for me because it was my first time functioning, being surrounded by people that truly were gifted and knew what they were doing. And to have a mentor like Bill meant a great deal. So I'm going to dedicate tonight's show to Mr. Bill Morrissey. And again, I know some of you know and love him like I do. If you can check out his music, he put out quite a lot over the years. He passed away just a few years ago, and he's dearly missed. This would be a night where I'd be calling him and he would be joining us, and we'd be talking about the stuff that we learned about each other in the process of recording this record. It would be a beautiful thing if he was still with us. But we'll share in his memory as this night goes on. Those of you that are just tuning in, this is the Patreon All Request Night. If you are a member of Patreon tonight, or if you sign up tonight, or if you're a member already tonight, you can download this record. I'm giving it to you for free on Patreon only. You can go over there and sign up and download this entire album from start to finish. We're going to be doing all the songs in the order they appeared on the record and be talking about the backstory of the album. And if you sign up tonight, you also get this in the mail, no matter at what level, even if it's at the $1 a month. This is, for $12, that's what it costs at the lowest level to sign up. You get this album in the mail, and you get my very first album. You get the bookends. This is my latest album on CD. You'll get that in the mail physically, and then you get a digital download of my very first record, the bookends of my entire career, happening tonight. Sign up over there at Patreon. Barbara, I want to thank you for the love and the tip jar. Let's get this show rolling. The first song on the album is called Conversation with a Ghost. And this is the song that kind of put me on the map in a lot of ways in the Boston area. Probably the most important song that put me on the map Patty Griffin was singing background, and she just sings so beautifully. And Johnny Cunningham was weaving two fiddles in the background. Absolutely gorgeous. I remember a moment when we asked Johnny if we could get him anything, like, I'm thinking he'd say, yeah, a glass of water. And he said an 8-ball and a crossbow. The guy was like absolutely one of the funniest human beings I've ever met. This is Conversation with a Ghost. Vincent Sansoni and Michael Morris got it right. It's Laid for the Sky by Jackson Browne over there on the record player. I'll respond to you in letters. I'm sorry so slow, sorry so few. In a nutshell, I'm much better. So far, the complaints I hear are few. How have you been? Have you been to the races? To take my mother as your sister in braces. Wish I could have been there to see you through. Hear all those things you told me once, still true. Do you remember that time? It was cold in the park. You were running a race, I was there on a lark. Who would have thought that New York could be such a small town? How have you been? Have you been to the races? Did you take my mother as your sister in braces? Wish I could have been there to see you through. Hear all those things you told me once, still true. Now are they true? Are they true? Now Margaret is tired. Let's let her get some sleep. She's bored with these letters. Let her count her sheep. So goodbye, love. Goodbye, love. How have you been? Have you been to the races? Did you take my mother as your sister in braces? Wish I could have been there to see you through. All those things you told me once, are they true still? True. True. I remember with this song that I remember where I was when I wrote it. I remember how it affected me when I wrote it. And I remember being very, very tearful when it was done. And that doesn't happen very often when I get choked up as I'm writing. But whenever it does, I know I'm hitting some part of my anatomy, heart, bones, brain, some area, and it's moving me in a way that is magical. And it's not one of my best written songs. It may be one of my best as far as honesty and capturing an emotion and a feeling. But it's very abstract. The lyrics don't make sense. You know, people have come up to me trying to figure out what the hell is it about. And there is a story. I'm not going to share it tonight because the story takes as long as the song does. But it's a good story. It's a ghost story. We'll save it for another time. This next one is called Look at the Wind Blow, song number 2. Just to remind you guys, if you're signing up tonight on the old Patreon list, we've got over 1,000 people there. We just crossed that 1,000 barrier. Again, you get this in the mail, hard copy of that, and you get the digital download of Say Something, the entire record tonight. We've put it up on the very video you're watching. You guys can go get that anytime you want. This song is about my hometown of Presque Isle, Maine, and being in high school. It's about the living in the glass houses of a small town pregnancies, and then there's friends of mine are mentioned. At one end of town, we had a Star Market parking lot, and at the other end of town, we had a McDonald's drive-through, and that was the loop. You'd go around the McDonald's, come all the way down Main Street, which is probably a mile and a half or so, turn around Star Market, hang out with friends in that parking lot, then turn around, head on back to McDonald's, do the same loop, say hello to everybody at that parking lot. And it gets to the point where you could recognize your friends by the shape of the headlights coming your way. This is Look at the Wind Blow. Let's get a little verbiage on this. I wrote it from a girl's perspective. I'm only 17, but I want much more than a small town girl. She bargained for more than standing in one place, waiting on the next James Dean. I live in this town, it's script and the Bible belt. Man, I bared my back, I took the welts. I only pray to get out of here. Maybe someday I will find out if the world is green. There is nothing to do in this town at night. I sit in my car, watching the street lights stare out the window at the pizza joint. What's the point? Boy, I wish I could buy my Ford sale. Hey, hey, look at the wind blow. Hey, hey, look at the wind blow. Now the life of the local beauty queen is tied to the captain of the baseball team. They got a baby on the way, at least that's what the kids are saying. And the wedding, I'm told it must take place just to save both families from disgrace. But the whole town knows, you see, it ain't like she's not showing. There is nothing to do in this town at night but sit in my car, watching the street lights, staring out the window at the pizza joint. What's the point? I wish I could buy my Ford sale. Hey, hey, look at the wind blow. Look at the wind blow. Tommy Bates sits in his car and he waits for his girl down at Lucky's Diner. There at the end of the loop, he's drinking soup while she puts on more eyeliner. I passed them once, I passed them twice, I passed them back again. They bought an old Range Rover from the next town over, man. Their headlights are like friends. Now their headlights are my friends. There is nothing to do in this town at night but sit in my car watching the street lights, stare out the window at the pizza joint. But what's the point? I wish I could buy my Ford. Say, hey, hey, look at the wind blow. Look at the wind blow. Hey, hey, look at the wind blow. Hey, hey, look at the wind blow. All right, that was Look at the Wind Blow, a song about my hometown of Presque Isle, Maine. I kind of always pictured my cousin Jill singing that song. She was kind of beyond her years, still is. I'm playing a word game with her, a word blast. She's crushing me. A couple things to tell you before I go. You can see up in this corner, whoa, right there. The Traveling Medicine Show Festival is happening Sunday, May 23rd. It's going to be an online festival around celebrating, the whole concept of my show, the Traveling Medicine Show that happens every Friday night. This is the poster. It just came in the mail. Look how beautiful that is. And it's got all the artists: Tom Rush, Susan Warner, Vance Gilbert, Willie Porter, Adam Reza, Rose Cousins, Nobody's Girl, Jonathan Bird, Chris Matthews, Heather Mae Benjamin, Dakota Rogers, Laurie McAllister, and myself. Listen, tickets $25. Patreon members, of course, they're $10 or $15 for them because they're special and they get access codes that decrease not only the price of events like this, but prices of merchandise and all that. So if you want to sign up for Patreon, again, it's $12. You're getting this album, a download of Say Something that I'm performing tonight, my first album and my most recent album, bookending my entire 30-year career for $1 a month. And you get discounts on things like this big-ass festival that's coming up. I'll show you one more thing for this festival. Let me see. There it is. If you want to just hold up your photo phone to that QRC code there, it'll take you directly to buying a ticket. Or you can do that over on the Patreon site. We'll be sending you the discount codes as the weeks go on for you to purchase your little spot. It's going to have multiple stages on it, a performance stage and also an interview stage. I'll leave that up just for another 10 seconds as you're contemplating your future with music and how to discover people that sing songs. And these people do it really, really well. It's a diverse lineup: Americans, Canadians, people in their 20s, all the way up to people in their 70s. Legend of the American folk scene, Tom Rush, is going to be joining us, which is going to be great. I can't wait to talk to him. All right, so that's it. May 23rd, 6 p.m. to whenever it finishes. And if you buy a ticket, of course, you're not going to be able to absorb the whole show because there's multiple stages, but you can go for the next 30 days or the next 90 days, depending on how much your ticket was. And you can just check out what you missed. And if you missed the show, you still buy the ticket. You can figure it out afterwards as well. One more little thing here. The following weekend after that over, this doesn't have the dates on it, does it? Well, it's over Memorial Day weekend, May 28th to the 1st of June. This is for songwriters. We're going to have Dan Navarro, who wrote We Belong for Pat Benatar, and myself and Laurie will be there kind of coordinating it for us. And we're going to have another instructor to be announced and special guests to be announced. So you can check that out as well. Go to NewEnglandSongwritersRetreat.com and you can find out all about that. It's going to be an intensive weekend with evening performances online. It's going to be right here. You can watch the students perform online. Hey, back to that festival, I forgot to show you this. This is one of the things you can get with your tickets for the, there we go. Oh, right. Look at that. Ellis Paul Traveling Medicine Show. This is a little medicine thing, and you just take it out, and look at that. It's going to have all the performance music on it. Boom, just like that. And you can also get this. This is at a ticket level that's high as well, and it has, you won't believe this, one of these things, a little journal, stuff that you'd want, at an event, tickets to an Ellis Paul show, music, and more. All right, let's get back to the show. I'm going to do one more show, and then I'm going to say goodbye to the public forums and just play for those peeps over there who are on Patreon. So sign up tonight. Again, you get 2 albums worth of music tonight. This song is called Just the Jester Fool, and I love this song, actually. It took me a while to see the innocence in it. Get this message on the message machine that she's cooking dinner tonight. So I go out and I pick up a bottle of wine. When I get there a little nervous, I run out of things to say. So I say, I like your wooden floorboards. She's laying in flannel sheets. The brass bed speaks, come on, lie in me. And there I'm standing, naked, meek, stalling. She then says lovingly, if I were the queen and you were just the jester fool, I would love you as my king. Just because I do. Oh, I love you. At 6 a.m. the alarm clock goes off and I realize I'm not used to looking at this particular ceiling. Kiss her goodbye, run out the door. On the street, half dressed, probably gonna be late for work. Oh, it's morning out on a naked street. Old lady on the corner, she's staring at me. Well, I guess she ain't never seen barefoot feet. I heard the words she sung to me. Oh, if I were the queen and you were just the jester fool, I would love you as my king. Just because I do. Oh, if I were the queen, you were just the jester fool, I would love you as my king. Just because I do. Oh, I love you. Yes, I do. Oh, I love you. Just the Jester Fool. If you're just joining us tonight, you're listening to Ellis Paul's Patreon All Request Night. It happens every night at this hour. I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia. You're watching the sun set upon us here in Virginia, wherever you are. I hope you're enjoying your weekend and you're safe and happy and maybe got a vaccination shot in your shoulder somewhere. I'm going to say goodnight to all of the folks listening on the public forums. If you want to watch the rest of the show, you got to join Patreon. 2 albums are waiting for you there if you check it out. Good night, Twitch. I'm removing you. Good night, Facebook, one by one. Oops, we got to go back. There we are. Remove. Good night, Facebook. And lastly, but not leastly, the other Facebook page. Remove. Good night, Facebook. Cheers. And Twitch. Good night, Twitter. All right, we are here with just all of you folks who are live here with me and Patreon members hanging out here on the Patreon side of things. If you're watching over on Patreon and want to jump to where all the people are sharing comments, just click on the YouTube symbol and that'll bring you to the YouTube version of the show so you can talk with us. I'll try and catch your comments on the Patreon side, but I can't promise you that I'll see all of them. I want to thank Barbara for the love in the tip jar tonight. If you're just joining us, we are doing the album Say Something. It was released in 1993, produced by Bill Morrissey, featuring Patty Griffin, Jonathan Brooke, The Story, Duke Levine, Bill Gates on drums. Lots of people I love played on this record and made it a great experience for me. At that time, I was a social worker in Boston, so a lot of these songs have mentions of kids and drugs and street kids, and a lot of the population I was working with was getting in trouble at the time. It was sort of a time when crack cocaine was coming into vogue. Remember 1993? I think I remember listening to Eminem during that period of time too. Let's grab a guitar and see if we can do this song called Angel. Wrong guitar. There we go. Hey, I decided, guys, to name this guitar James. It's a Taylor guitar, as you can see, and I thought it's Laurie's guitar. I asked permission to name it, so we're going to call it James, as in James Taylor. He's had a pretty profound effect on me. So this was inspired by a kid I was working with. Needle in my hand, got a forearm rubber band, got a golden liquid in a tube, I'm gonna do a message jam. Got lots and lots of money, got lots and lots of time. Yeah. I think I might be, I think I am. Oh, I think I might be, I think I am. Yeah. It's like liquid sunshine, fire and rain, marmalade skies and faraway eyes, glazed in a haze of cocaine. Oh, angels on the corner, got 10 vials in his hands, sells a different. His angels on the corner, got 10 vials in his hands, sells each one for $10 like some medicine man. Seems to know a lot for a kid 16 years old. Got a 4-year veteran of the penal code. He's got trademark shoes, 3 tattoos, a brass cord necklace and a smokestack. He's got liquid sunshine, fire and rain, faraway eyes, marmalade skies, glazed in a haze of cocaine. Yeah. blister of cocaine. Can't you hear the wind? Can't you hear the rain? Oh, take a break from the storm and the eye of the hurricane. Here we go now. Not too sure if man my own black white eyes in the mirror on a face of cold stone. Black white eyes, riddles and lies. Tell me you got nothing to hide, but oh, it's like liquid sunshine, fire and rain, marmalade skies and faraway eyes, glazed in a haze of cold. That was Angel off of the record Say Something. Listen, gang, if you're listening over there on Patreon tonight, you can just click on it, on the video over on the Patreon site. Deb McWethy, thank you for the love and the tip jar. And listen, if you do, you can download this album. Maybe you don't own it, or maybe you lost the copy you had back in the 90s because it was the 90s, and you misplaced things in the 90s. Well, you can get the digital version. It'll be on your computer. You'd have to misplace your computer to lose it. This song is called Thin Man, and I was pretty thin back then. Probably weighed, 150 pounds. That was back when I was running. Now that I'm 200 pounds, it's a different story. I should do a updated version called The Fat Man. Might not be a good title. Anyway. So this is Thin Man. And it's about commitment, this song. I like this one, Brian Warren. You're so kind. Brian, who's in the picture? It looks like a jazz band. Avoiding the circus, afraid the trapeze might fall down. You say the fall will not hurt us, 'cause the net stands apart from the ground. And so there you go for the wings, legs entwined and circling, height of the backside swing, arms reaching, beckoning me, but I am the thin man, all skin and bones. Am I qualified for the job, or better off alone? Sleeping in a bed of leaves. Meanwhile, back at the circus, you're seeing the pendulum fly, watched by 10,000 eyes. So there you go for the rings, legs entwined and circling, height of the backside swing, arms reaching, beckoning, but I am the thin man, all skin and bones. Am I qualified for the job, or better off alone, sleeping in a bed of leaves, sleeping in a bed of leaves. Oh, Michael, thank you for that. You know, there's a lot of these old songs. I know you guys are used to me doing oftentimes the same songs sometimes on these nights, because I gravitate to the ones that feel good and feel current. But there's something sweet about that. I know something that I had in the early days in spades, and it's not an easy thing to come by. I wasn't a great guitar player, wasn't that great of a singer, wasn't even a great crafter of songs, I don't think, at that period of time, but I was honest, you know, and that's all you need. The three chords and a truth thing. There's no magic to it. I was telling a person today who I was writing a song with, that I'd rather hear like a 14-year-old girl or guy, for that matter, just a kid, to do a song that's out of their diary than hear some middle-aged songwriter just craft the hell out of something that's fiction or bullshit, or made up. And if you can, that's one reason why I love my last album so much. It's the reason why I love this album so much. I think I tapped into the well of truth on my last record, and I sang and wrote songs from my own biography, and that's why it feels so good, and that's why it resonates. So Mike Morris says, I think you way undersell that writing back then. Well, there are moments, I like that sleeping in a bed of leaves line. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot to be said for how great this record is. I'm very, very proud of it. But how I grew as a craftsperson, as a songwriter, constructing choruses that soared, the world ain't slowing down. And even on the next record, some of the lines in songs on the writing, it just took a leap towards storytelling on stories and out of the sort of poetic diary writing of this one. All right, let's do, the next up is the song Washington, D.C. I think that involves a harp. Let me go here. Nice to see all you guys here. Hey, by the way, I just got an email from Katie Curtis as I was sitting here, which is great. She's going to be our next instructor that we add onto this weekend on Nesser Online with me, your host and instructor, Dan Navarro, and Katie Curtis is going to be our third instructor on this. I'm so thrilled. Katie is just a fabulous songwriter. She's written some of my favorite songs, and I can't wait to have her on board. She's just a sweet lady. And so if you're a songwriter, join us that weekend. NewEnglandSongwritersRetreat.com. Go there and sign up. You can also get a one-on-one with me if you want me to listen to your stuff or talk to you about goals, whatever it is. All right. Back to let's see, Washington, D.C. Back to James. What do you think of this for a name? Is it good, James? What do you think, Patty? Where do the compliments happen on Patreon during the live show? Patty, if you click on the YouTube icon that's on the video, it'll bring you over to the rest of us in YouTube. That's where everybody's talking. So I can still see you on my cell phone, but I can see everybody else here on a... Yeah, just click on that YouTube thing, and that'll shift you over to the rest of us. And then let me know you're here, okay? I think James is perfect for this as well. Patty Dalton says hello to you all. She's going to try and come over to the party room, as well as the rest of the folks who are listening on Patreon. Politician and a stewardess underneath the monuments and the moon. He talked of national security. She talked of Paris in June. Oh, the lucky ones, if they're out tonight, can see cherry blossoms blooming or ride white carriages beneath city lights. But Lincoln's eyes of stone stare cool, as if bored of the reflecting pool, are hardened by what's hidden from his sight. They're rioting in the Capitol tonight. Now the Joneses from Poughkeepsie rest more weary legs in a hotel pool. They're soaking up reflections. Kids are glad they're out of school. The museums were overcrowded. White House lines were much too long, but the sights, they were quite beautiful. It's good to know where the tax money's gone. All the lucky ones, if they're out tonight, can see cherry blossoms blooming or ride white carriages beneath city lights. But Lincoln's eyes of stone stare cool, as if bored of the reflecting pool, are hardened by what's hidden from his side. They're rioting in the Capitol tonight. They're rioting. Friends, that's Washington, D.C., 591. I remember being in town. They were rioting in May in 91 over green card stuff. You know, sorry, James. I could probably write a song about January 6th, and I'd probably offend a lot of my Republican audience. Both of them would be offended. I know a couple of you are, and I don't know, but you tend to be really, awake. You probably think that the whole thing was a train wreck as well. Anyway, let's see here. What do we got next? New Light on Your Halo. Another one of those songs that were written about kids I was working with as a social worker in the city of Boston. And I worked at a school in Boston, and it wasn't in the public Boston public schools. And it wasn't in the juvenile system, it was in between. So kids got kicked out of the Boston public schools, came to us to be taken care of, rehabilitated if possible. We had social workers, and we had a school that was everything from, it was called the Compass School, by the way, in Jamaica Plain. And we had everything from kindergartners all the way up to 18-year-olds. And then we had people coming out of the juvenile prison system who are transitioning back towards the Boston public schools. They needed to be, educated and caught up. And so, I taught there and was a social worker there, caseworker there. And I just had such hard luck kids, And in the elementary school program, when I worked in there, we had a little padded room. So when kids acted up in class, we could take them into sort of a safe environment and hold them on the cushions of the room until they could calm down and reassure them that they weren't going to be hurt. And there was one even in the high school side of things. But we had kids that had, shot people. We had pregnant moms. We had cross-dressing kids. We had this wide variety, black, white, Latino. But all of them just struggling, and some of them ended up doing really well in life, and we have a lot of success stories in that group. All right, let's see what we got here. New Light on Your Halo. I'm going to need a little sunshine here. All right. Rap was really big at the time. I think Eminem was just about to come out around this time. So a lot of my songs had like rapid fire rhyming. Gonna tune it. Welcome to the city where we're rich on pride and pity, where a schoolboy just a fool but gets shot down daylight. Instead of shouting face down on the sidewalk, who's seeing God and gets the nod to heaven like who keeps the score when the city goes to war by guns, by deaths, by money. Man in a black coat standing in the gun smoke, sips on white milk and honey, honey. This can be the playground for the feeble, where the mindless mix the soil and play with evil. A child becomes the means because innocence is believable to all, to all, to all but the mother's eyes. You light on your halo, and it ain't shine writes his name, his claim to fame on red bricks bright white. Hey, pretty thing, voices out a window sing a Puerto Rican Pegasus with 17 yellow shoes all around tonight. You might say they're looking for some action. A dog strays, music plays, kids stay in the streets all day. They see the man in the black coat as a form of satisfaction. Oh, this can be the playground for the feeble, where the mindless mix the soil of play with the claw. Oh, a child becomes the means because innocence is believable to all, but the mother's eye. You lie on your halo, and it ain't shining brightly. You lie on your halo, and it ain't shining, it ain't shining, it ain't shining, shine, shine, shine. I would never write a song like that these days. Well, maybe I would. I guess maybe Mean World 2020. That might be kind of in that vein. Well, here we go. Another song coming up. This one we'll bring out James for. This is James' Night Out. This song is called Friday Night. I remember one record label guy we talked to back then when I was trying to get signed. I said, Ellis doesn't know whether he's James Taylor or Tom Paxton. And I was kind of James Paxton back then. A lot more Ellis Paul now. Okay, this is on Cable 4. Let's see how I do. Must know it's Friday. He's been drinking all night, crooning and swooning. He says, "Come dance in the half light." So you twirl out a step choreographed by wine, and he dances with the moon, stars, and the stop sign. In my mind, I see a lifetime of tonight, but I'll keep that thought sealed tight. Live for the moment that is tonight. There's no rain in the gutters, the moon's fully bright. Let it shine all its power. I may not get another Friday night. You whirl and a childlike wisdom glows on your face. On the moon you have embraced. You left him spellbound, staggered in a starry space. Round, 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 he's spinning round you, dancing, twirling in a wild lunar chase. Though the moon's out but eclipsed tonight by curtains and candlelight, He's tapping at me through the window pane in his top hat and cane. In my mind I see a lifetime of 2 nights, but I'll keep that thought sealed tight. Live for the moment that is tonight. There's no rain in the gutters, the moon's fully bright. Let it shine all its power. I may not get another Friday night. Pretty sweet love song there. Happy with that one. I'm happy with all that little guitar work. You know, it's nice to know that the 24 or 5-year-old me was doing. It's a pretty little guitar part. Nice job, young Ellis Paul. Way to go. Way to work those fingertips. Thank you guys for listening tonight, for being here tonight. And Robert, thank you for the love in the tip jar. I apologize if I missed anybody else during the course of the evening. It's been one of those nights where I'm looking all over the place. Yeah. Okay, next up is the song Blizzard. Now, this song has a nice piece of writing in it. One of my favorite stanzas is in this one. The stanza reads, let me see, where does it fall here? Up on the next hill, a trailer truck load spilled. It spun in a jackknife, and now it's a still life, framed by the flares and the cruisers. Orange coats and one sore loser. I love that. That's the best stanza on the whole record. You know, a lot of the work of my songwriting is just creating a visual scene. And it feels often like I'm painting the scene. Have you ever driven in a blizzard? And if you're from the northern parts of the U.S., you probably have. But that blindness of it feels like this tunnel, and the snow's coming at you, and you can only see like right in the middle of it, and everything else is like a blur of stars coming by you, like you're hyper speed on some kind of Star Wars. When you go into light speed. Kristen, thank you for the love in the tip jar tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you. I was trying to get that and that feeling of loneliness and isolation and worry when you're potentially going to be off the road, you know, on the side of the snowbank. Weather advisory, one for the diaries. It's windy and cold, so stay off the road. It's better outside your windows. Stack your blankets, light your candle. There isn't a phone booth, and ain't it the cold truth? A lonely old highway, just me and the plows, making the most of their payday, laying salt in the wounds on the roadways. For your bed, I'll beat the cold, with a blizzard in my headlights, or an avalanche in the road. Snow blinds every roadside, so I'm counting the miles as I'm going. There's a shroud outside my window, black eyes. Oh, where I lost my spot. There's a shroud of black ice forming. The radio sends out warnings. Now here's that verse. Up on the next hill, a trailer truckload spun in a jackknife. And now it's a still life framed by the flares and the cruisers, orange coats and one sore loser. For your bed, I'll beat the cold, with a blizzard out my window and an avalanche in the road. Snow blinds, road signs, I'm counting the miles as I'm going. There's a shroud of black ice forming. The radio sounds out warnings. In hindsight, it's a cold night, and where I am was not so cold. Another sound bite in the dash lights, another soundbite and I'm home. 200 miles to Chicago, my eyes froze to the road, mesmerized as the windshield collides with the stone. Weather advisory, one for the diaries, windy and cold, so stay off the road. All right, I can take some notes on this before I do it again. That's Blizzard. I can't remember the name of the young lady who sang with me on this. Karen, maybe you know. 200 miles to Chicago. My eyes froze to the road, mesmerized as the windshield collides with the snow. I'm trying to remember who it was. I can't remember her name. Karen, if you could look that up. Who sings on Blizzard with me? It's probably on the internet somewhere. Our next song is Jumpin' a Train. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me tonight on this wonderful trip down memory lane. This song is called Jumpin' a Train. No, it wasn't Jennifer Kimball. I want to say Connolly. Her sister was a famous actress on Melrose Place, and she had a gorgeous voice, just a gorgeous voice. Michael has a little note here. He probably has a recording of this that I'm unaware of, where the original title for this was northbound train. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see how I do. I'm just going to walk through this. The time, 11:33 on a Saturday, November 1923. I'm synchronized. It's wise to keep my wits about me. My name is Roy, a one-time choir boy. I'm 16 man and I'm nobody's toy. I'm gonna take the wind and get this town behind me. Oh, I'm jumping a train, leaving town, howling whistle sound, and I'm not looking back. Gonna tie my drift to a train track. I got a whiskey bottle tied in a corn sack. Hold on, world, on a northbound train. Am I alive? Won't somebody tell me the Mississippi waves what's trying to sell me? Mud in the banks, but no one gets thanks when it's tracked in through the doorway. I am homegrown, sewn into these britches, but I'm spending my life digging up ditches like my daddy and my daddy and my daddy. Before I'm jumping a train, leaving town, howling whistle sounds, and I'm not looking back. Got a whiskey bottle tied to a corn sack. Tie my life to a train track. Hold on, world, I'm riding. I'm hitching a ride on a northbound train. Thank you, guys. Yeah. And Ellen is the sister of Marcia Cross. And I have no idea what Ellen is up to these days. She was just a fantastic vibrato. She looked like Amelia Earhart, and she sang like an angel. She was just this gorgeous woman. Just like, remember her being like, so, I don't know, shimmery. she had all sorts of magic attached to her voice, and like the kindest soul you could imagine as well. No ego. And it's hard when you're in your 20s. You know, Boston was just so thick with really great songwriters, and there was sort of an elite batch of them, and almost every single one in that group had some kind of special thing going on with their voice. Patty Griffin and Martin Sexton and Katie Curtis and Vance Gilbert, and and Elena's, and she was one of those people that just had character in her voice long before. Sometimes you got to write a lot of songs before that person shows up, in your voice. And but man, it was just so, we were thick as thieves, as they say, going from open mic to open mic to open mic. And almost all of those people are still professional musicians. Dar Williams, Jonathan Brooke, Jennifer Kimball, Vance Gilbert. We're all still doing it. Pretty amazing. Guys, thank you so much. Cheers to you. Tonight, we're going to do one more song here. It's really, Dana is saying, she's wondering if this is really good for me. First of all, it forces me to revisit these songs. And and recognize what's great about them and learn who I was as an artist back then. It's always really great to look in the mirror and see your younger self. And I wonder if that guy would be proud of me, like I'm proud of him. It's interesting. Who knows? I think that guy would be pretty happy to know that I'm still going at it and still trying to do my best. I think he probably would have wanted to be a little bit more successful, maybe wanted to be a household name back then. I don't know. But I am who I am. I'm so lucky. Look at me. I've got you guys listening to me wax on about myself, which is a little bit crazy. So I wrote this about someone that lived in the group house with me. Beautiful woman. Wow, that's it. Carrie's a cold one. She's colder than the winter sun. I should warn you, you better dress for it. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. Beauty is skin deep, and yes, she is thick skinned. But what is that for virtue? You wanted to say something, say anything, or say nothing at all. Say something, say anything, or say nothing at all. Browsing for postcards, staring back at the cover girls on the magazines. Even the clerk is checking her out. She's unaware that she owns the scene, though everyone goes out of their way for her. Want her to say something, say anything, or say nothing at all. Say something, say anything, or say nothing at all. Nothing at all. What did I tell you? She never looks out her window to see the setting sun. You tell her the skies are blue, she'll say the rain will come. Every day is rain. You want her to say something, say anything, or say nothing at all. Say something, say anything, or say nothing at all. Nothing at all. That says something, y'all. And that does it for the whole record. We start to finish. This record was brought to you by the memory of Mr. Bill Morrissey. He was the person that produced this record, took me under his wing. Bill was probably closing in late 30s, 40s at the time. I was probably all of 26. Somebody, Tim in the old tip jar, thank you, brother, for the love in the tip jar. All of you folks, thank you for the support tonight. We're going to continue to do these special event nights on Patreon, and we'll start, we'll spread the word by going out publicly for 2 or 3 songs, and then we'll slip back into the Patreon space where just us lives. And let me see if I can get this to focus. Do you see my face? Sometimes the camera doesn't like the change. There we go. Now we're back. Yeah, that was such a joy. Thank you, Regina, for commenting on that. It feels good to do this record again. And, we will do other albums of mine. And I want to do tributes. Like, next week is going to be Joni Mitchell's birthday. So it'd be kind of cool to do a Joni Mitchell night. I'm going to do a lot of Joni Mitchell songs. Maybe on Sunday night we'll do a Joni Mitchell night. How about that? You guys, would you be into that? I'll find the songs that I can play. She's not an easy person to mimic guitar-wise, but that might be good. And I want to thank you guys again for all the love on Patreon. Listen, if you go over to the Patreon site and you click on this event on Patreon, you can download. We're going to have the digital download tracks for this album for you to celebrate crossing 1,000 members. I'm going to give it to everybody. So you got to know that it's there in order to go get it. And, we've only got about 100 people watching tonight. So, but anyone can go grab it over there. Let's see. Dana, that was very, very funny when I did this. All right, I'm going to play a little bit of music here. Let's do, I'll do Angel from Montgomery. It's always a safe bet. Cheers again to you all. Thank you for the love and support.
I am an old woman named after my mother. My old man is another.
Me too.
Child who's grown old.
Thank you, Dar. Thank you, Aaron.
Dreams were lightning, thunder desire.
It is.
This old house was burnt down.
Where did I read that it was next week? Let's just pretend it's next week. Me too. Thank you, Mindy. Good night, Dar. We'll figure it out next week. Maybe it's the anniversary of our first album coming out. I'll have to think about it. I don't know why it's getting blurry. Sometimes the music shakes the camera a bit.
You weren't much to look at, just a free rambling man. But that was a long time, and no matter how I tried, the years just flew by like a broken down dam. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me the one thing that
Thank you, David.
I can hold on to believe in this living is just a hard way to go. flies in the kitchen. I can hear them buzzing, and I ain't done nothing.
Yes, he does.
Since I woke up today.
That's right, Bill. Martin, I should say. Good night, Craig. You're welcome, Dana. Thank you. What a nice night. Good to reconnect with you all and play some songs from the 90s. I think the camera was shaking from all of the music playing. I think that's what was doing it. Hey guys, thanks so much again. We'll see you next Wednesday. Hey, by the way, next week, Eliza Gilkison is going to be a special guest on the Traveling Medicine Show. And don't forget to sign up for that festival night. There it is. Oh, there we go. Can't remember where I'm pointing. Get your tickets over there, okay? You have great discounts because you're members of Patreon. The festival is $25 for everybody else, but for you guys, either 10 or 15, depending on what tier you're at. So I don't want you to miss it. I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you next week, and don't forget Eliza Gilkison next week as well. Cheers, y'all. Good night.